Hello and welcome to the Album Man, and today I'm going to be doing an instrument tour. And I originally said this was just going to be my Les Paul, but as you can see this is not a Les Paul. I'm going to show you all my guitars in this video. And yeah, I do have quite a few, and I'll be telling you a bit about them. So yeah, let's start with this one. So as you can see, this is an acoustic guitar made by Stag, and it calls itself a handmade classical guitar. And as you can see by its short size, this is in fact a half-size children's guitar. Now this is the only children's guitar I have, and I got this because when I was in about year 1 or something, at school they said that they were going to be having a guitar teacher come and do some guitar lessons at lunch, for free. So, well, I mean, it was a private school, so, but, yeah, so I asked my parents if I could have a guitar, and, didn't want to spend too much as I didn't know if I'd like it, so they bought me this little acoustic guitar, and as I was only year 1, it's a children's, didn't make much sense to buy me a big adult acoustic guitar, and, yeah, the teacher, I think he was called Mr. Gavin, something like that, and I didn't like him. He did not teach guitar well. He'd give us a chord chart and expect us to be able to, know how to play it, but he didn't teach us ever how to read chord charts. So yeah, I was pretty clueless with this guitar. The only thing I ever learned how to play was the intro to the James Bond theme tune, the sort of I don't know, I can't do the tune for it. But yeah, so I played guitar a bit on this, and then I started having guitar lessons with a guy named Mark, private guitar lessons after school. And, I started on this and I learned some things like Wonderwall, always one of my favourite songs to play on guitar still to this day. Yellow Submarine, some pretty basic songs like that. And to be honest, I never practiced at home. I didn't ever want, to not have lessons. I sort of liked having lessons, but I didn't exactly look forward to them. And I never practiced at home, really. It was very weird practice. I mean, it literally remained untouched and untuned because I had no idea how to tune it, and didn't have a tuner, or no tuners existed. My guitar knowledge was very limited at the time. I was probably about year 4 when I started with this Mark guy. Yeah, so, yeah, I just did not play this guitar very much at all, to be honest. And so, in an encouragement to get, and my parents threatened that they were going to take my lessons away because, I wasn't practicing, and, fair dues, obviously. But, my dad decided that he would buy me an electric guitar to try and, encourage me to start practicing, because I said I would, because I like the idea of an electric guitar. Now, bear in mind, at this time, I was not into music very much at all. I really just like things like the Beatles and some other bands I don't want to talk about at the moment. So as you can see, this is a Challenge VP, and if you've never heard of these, then I don't blame you. It's literally, this guitar came from bidup.tv, that's where I saw it. I used to be big into watching bidup.tv for some reason. Yeah, and I saw this guitar and thought it looked cool because, as you can see, it's blue, and as you can see, it has no strings on it. So, I don't play this guitar. I weighted all the strings for my other guitars, and yeah, this guitar, it sounds like it is a load of crap, to be honest. It is horrible, it's horrible to play, it's a nasty, cheap thing, and yeah, so I carried on having lessons with this Mark guy, and, I started learning some electric guitar stuff, but again, I wasn't really practicing, at all. And my parents said they were going to take my lessons away, but I said no, I'll practice, then practice for about a week after, but then not again. I don't know, I just could not get into the guitar how much I wanted to, but I just did not want to put the work in. Oh, sorry for that zooming. I just did not want to put the work in. So then what happened was one summer, well, it was just before summer, I decided, I started getting to Muse, and I decided to learn the sort of quite basically sort of solo for Knights of Sidonia. Really quite an easy song, really fun to play. So I started learning that, and I started practicing it loads because I really liked it. Then in my guitar lessons with Mark, I started to learn Sweet Child of Mine, the, riff for that, and of course, I've always liked Guns N' Roses, and, now they're my favourite band, but, yeah, I started learning that. I started becoming quite interested in the guitar quite a lot. I started learning more stuff, things like Sunshine of Your Love by Queen, and I really started taking interest in the guitar. So after that summer for my birthday, I wanted to upgrade. I wanted a proper electric guitar. And I was a big fan of things like AC/DC, so I wanted an SG. Now, of course, I couldn't get a Gibson SG, but, I wasn't going to settle for a make like Challenger. No. So I went for an Epiphone SG. Now, I love Epiphone. And this is an SG G310. And it says SG Special on here. That's because we bought it second hand. And the person, he broke the neck. So he replaced it with an SG Special neck. I really should get the G310 neck for this. But yeah, I mean, this is actually quite a nice guitar. As you can see, I don't often play it. I really need to get it restrung. And probably should have, cleaned these guitars up a bit before showing you them. But yeah, I started really getting into guitar with this guitar. Really loved it. Learned some classic things like Highway to Hell, Back in Black. I wanted to be like Angus Young, and I hadn't quite gotten into Tony Iommi at that period. I mean, now I'm a massive Iommi fan. But yeah, this has a mahogany body. It has a D-shaped mahogany 22 fret built-in neck with a nice rosewood fretboard. It has the bridge pickup is a 700T, I think, humbucker, and the neck pickup is a 650 R, I think, yeah, 650R pickup. So yeah, it's obviously these are standard pickups. I never changed them out. I really want to learn some soldering so I can change the pickups out, but never really got around to it. And as you can see, these switches here, apparently the person customized them because he wanted this guitar to look like Iommi's. I mean, it doesn't really, because it doesn't have the pointy base. It's a G310, so it has this classic flat shape here instead of the pointier shape. But still, I think Angus Young played a guitar that looked very similar to this at one point. And yeah, it's not a bad beginner's guitar. It was about 150 quid new, and we got it for about 100. And really, for that price, it's really pretty good guitar to go. And as you can see here, this is quite interesting. If you look at this, there's a piece of plastic taping this on, because now this is flimsy as hell. I managed to break this literally the first day I got it on my birthday. I was devastated. But they fixed it up, and I don't really mind this too much. It's alright, but yeah, I don't often play this guitar nowadays. I need to get it restrung, but yeah. So I started seriously getting into guitar. So, I think it was the birthday after this or something. Something like that, or Christmas, I'm not quite sure. I got, well actually, wait, before we go on to this, I also got a Marshall amp with this as well, which I still have. I'll show you that over there, my good old Marshall amp. Love that. Anyway, so then I wanted a Les Paul, because Slash has been my, favourite guitarist of all time for a long time. Not necessarily, in my opinion, the best guitarist ever, but certainly my favourite. And I just really wanted a guitar that looked like his. So again, I went for an Epiphone, and as you can see, this is an Epiphone Les Paul Standard. Now this is probably my favourite guitar. I adore this, and as you can see, I have a little Blackstone Cherry sticker on here. It really is a wonderful, wonderful guitar. Oh, and if you're wondering why one of the knobs is missing, I literally have it over here. I'll let you put that on, just roughly. Yeah, I don't know why I keep forgetting to put it on. But yeah, it's a beautiful guitar, and if you look at the, just the colouring on this, it took me ages to pick it from eBay, because I wanted this grain to be very exact. I was so fussy about what this guitar looked like. Seriously, I had to look through hundreds of Epiphone Les Pauls because I wanted it so exact, the look of it. And I just think it's beautiful. I love the sunburst colour. And yeah, it really is a great guitar. It's a mahogany body, has a handset mahogany neck, which is always nice. I like a handset neck. Has a rosewood fingerboard, 22 frets, and some trapezoid inlays, which are really nice. And it has an Alkino neck pickup, and Alkino humbucker bridge pickup as well. And of course it features the pick guard, which I personally like. I mean, I know some people don't. But yeah, this is such a good guitar, and this is the one I play the most. Now, it does have a couple of strings missing at the moment, because that's because I've been playing the next guitar a bit more just the last week odd. So I changed the strings around, as I'm always breaking strings. So yeah, and the newest guitar I got, which was not Christmas, probably my last birthday, my 15th, I got this. And this is a genuine Fender Stratocaster. The zoom on this is pretty dodgy. Yeah, but of course this is an American one, you know, I'm not made of money. No, this is a Mexican one. And it's quite interesting differences. I have played an American one and a Mexican one in, well, obviously I have a Mexican one, but I played an American one like Dawson's before. And you know what, the difference between them, this is just the standard Fender Strat. And the difference between them, you know what, it is not that big, to be honest. Yeah, the Fender sounds just that tiny bit, but it's such a minute difference, and considering there's about 200 quid between it really isn't worth it. These Mexican ones, just because they say Mexico on, they go for a lot cheaper, and they really are, if you're a Fender fan who just cannot afford the American ones, really a great buy. I'm not sure I'd recommend stuff like the Japanese or Korean ones. They're not quite as good by what I've played, but sorry about that. But yeah, these Mexican ones really great, and yeah, you know, this features a maple C-shaped neck, sort of, you know, the modern C, and 3 standard single coil pickups. Yeah, pretty basic standard stuff, but it sounds absolutely wonderful. Such a tone. It just has that tone that you just cannot get, because the Les Paul has a warmer, sort of thicker tone, but this has a brighter, cleaner tone. I said it's certainly for clean guitar playing, this is a lot better, but for, you know, overdrive, going to metal and hard rock, especially hard rock, and this is better. But for blues, I'd say, I don't know, they both have their advantages and disadvantages of blues. You know, of course, you get players like Jeff Beck and Eric Clapton who play the Strat, and you get players like Joe Bonamassa and Gary Moore who play the Les Paul. Well, it depends what type of blues. If you want a big, meaty, sort of more rock blues sound like Joe Bonamassa and Gary Moore, or if you want the more sort of traditional, brighter, cleaner blues sound like Clapton and Beck. But they're both wonderful guitars, and these are the two that I usually play the most. They're the main two I play, to be honest, and I love them both dearly. So yeah, this has been a tour of my 5 wonderful guitars, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I may well do a tour of my drum kit in the future. So yeah, thanks for watching, comment, rate, subscribe. This has been the Album Man, and long live rock and roll.